Hey everybody, how are you? It's Audrey. Welcome back. Today I have a very special video. It is for the Scrapping Boys video series put on by Christine Meyer. So she has a whole bunch of guest scrappers and YouTubers joining her channel today, and I believe she's offering some prizes. So I will link to her channel below. So I am using a photo of my little boy, of course, and doing a very boyish thing, and that's riding in his little motorized Jeep, and he is quite the daredevil, and started going down this little hill we have, and just kind of doing these, like, I don't know, skid outs and everything, and yeah, just being a total boy. So when I first saw this piece of pattern paper, it's from one of Paige Evans' collections from Pink Paisley. This gray siding always reminded me of tire tracks. So I thought it would be perfect for this page. And I wanted to kind of bring out the movement of him going down this little hill and just seeing him fly down that hill. So I decided to cut the paper on a diagonal that kind of mimicked the hill. So I am going to use that as my background. I'm going to rough up the edges a little bit here with my edge distresser and just glue that down. My glue isn't clogged, which it quite often gets clogged because I don't ever put the top on it. So, and I know that I'm going to do some mixed media over the background. So before I start my mixed media, I'm just playing around with the idea of putting strips behind the photo. And then I was thinking maybe I wanted to do mixed media over the strips too. So I pulled a couple pattern papers. So all of the collections I pulled out were from boy collections. So this star paper is from an older crepe paper collection called Boys Rule. I think that blue paper is from a newer crepe paper collection for boys. I cannot remember the name of it. It's their most recent one. I don't know. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, so yeah, that's where most of these papers are coming from. And I have a couple Cocoa Vanilla Studio paper boy collections too. So here comes the mixed media part. I am going to add gesso over the background, and I picked out some blues and kind of greenish combinations of mists here. And I find that when you use gesso on a background and then you put mist on top of it, it's a little bit forgiving because you can go back with a paper towel, which I do here because this green was way too bright. You can go back with a paper towel and kind of pick off some of that color, dab it off. So putting gesso down first is definitely, provides with a little bit of wiggle room if you, add too much color or just don't get color in quite the exact spot that you want to. So I play around with this for a little bit, adding different combinations of blues and greens, and I didn't want to get too green because I knew most of the papers I had were blue, so I didn't want to get into too many different green colors there. And then I am splattering some navy mist. You can see that in the middle there where I had just put down the mist that the navy is kind of bleeding, and that's okay because I know that's where my photo is going anyway. So I do come back at the end and add in some more navy mist. So I kind of like the subtle blue and a little bit of green there in the background, and I decided that I wanted to stamp, just for the fact that I haven't stamped in a long time, and I wanted to bring in some arrows, again, to help show that movement. So this is an old Studio Calico stamp set, and it's just a little line of arrows, a really super skinny line, and I'm just going to stamp kind of going in the arrows pointing down, of course, and then going in the same direction and just kind of scattered there around the edge. Then I picked out another old stamp. This is an old Glitz design stamp, which they're not around anymore. But I thought to bring in some contrast, I would go over with some orange ink. So I took some orange Distress Oxide, a little bit of Citron Mist here. I'm just bringing in all the colors. I'm glad I added the orange, though, because that definitely brings in some good contrast. Some Citron, and then I went back with some Navy Mist again. And there it is. So I really like how that mixed media came out in the background. I really think it shows a lot of movement and helps the design flow. So now I'm going to play around with some pattern paper strips, and I didn't want them to take up the whole diagonal I didn't want them to be too big because now I have this great mixed media in the background and some stamping, and I didn't want to cover it all up. So I'm just going to use some thinner strips. And I'm kind of trying to balance the colors on both sides of the photos. I really end up moving this around a lot because once I start adding in my embellishments, it kind of changed where these strips go. So I play around with these for quite a while. Then I decided to mat my photo on a piece of paper that I thought would make it stand out a little bit more. And so I chose this craft pattern paper. And it has, I mean, it's craft, but it's a little bit brighter craft, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It almost has like a little bit of an orange tint to it. And I thought it went really well with the orange ink I had in the background. So I'm going to kind of leave the strips for a little bit, and I thought to myself, let me just start picking out embellishments and see where they're going to go first before I start playing around with these strips too much and committing to anything. So one of the crepe paper lines that I said Boys Rule, I knew had a whole bunch of car embellishments. And when I bought this collection a couple years ago, well, it's quite a few years ago now, I bought everything in the collection. They had wood veneer and a whole pack of vellum and a whole pack of die cuts and a whole pack of chipboard and just so much stuff. So I picked out a little car from that. And then as I was going through these paper packs, I saw this little black and white stripe, and I thought black and white reminded me of like racing stripes. So I thought I definitely had to add in a black and white strip there to kind of bring out the whole racing theme. So I distressed the edge of my photo. I have my black and white strip in the background. I had started pulling out a couple pieces of ephemera and chipboard and stuff. These stickers are from a Cocoa Vanilla Studio collection. I think this is the U-Rock collection. And the colors go pretty good with the other boy collections I have. It was funny as I was going through these collections, they're all pretty much the same color. You have grays with navy blue with either like a mint or a sky blue, and then either an orange or a red for contrast, and maybe a yellow. So they all kind of coordinate well together, which I don't mind because it makes it easier to scrap. The all boys stickers were perfect, and they picked up on the little red 6 in the car, which actually, was he 6 at this time? I'm trying to think if my son was 6. No, I think he was only 5. Darn, I wish that see, little things like that like bother me. Like I almost want to go back now and put a little 5 in there. And look at this lovely mess I just made, dumping all of my letters all over the place. Oh my gosh, these letters are super slippery. And I just opened the corner just a little bit because I just wanted to get the word go out. But I must have used the go for that, the ready set part. I think it did have a go with it, but I think I used on another scrapbook page at some time. Okay, so oftentimes when I scrapbook, I design myself out of a journaling spot, meaning I design the whole page and I love it, and then I'm like, where am I going to put my journaling? I didn't leave a space for it, so I pulled out this, I made sure to do that this time. So I pulled out this little sticker. I like the mint. I like how it picked the color of the mint, how it picked up the papers with the stars on it. And I think I'm going to do a little cluster down there. So you can see how adding my title in is starting to affect where I put these strips and where I put these other embellishments. So yeah, I play around for a while going through all my boy things and picking out some other little bits to add. I didn't really want to add too much because, like I said, I like the mixed media background, but I did want to add a little bit more interest to it. And as I'm designing here, I could already feel that the top left is really empty, especially since I put that journaling card there down on the bottom right. So you can see I move it because I'm thinking to myself, ooh, that top left is really empty. I either have to add something out there to balance it or take that journaling card off. So I decided to add something to the top. And there's nothing better to add to the top edge of a page, I think, than some little pennants, some little banner strips. And they pick up on the other colors there in the papers and such. And I like how that looks. But because I added some to the top, I felt like I had to add some to the bottom, so I find a couple to add down there to the bottom. So I am going to now start finally gluing some things down. You see, I found a couple other vellum pieces, some vellum stars, a little vellum arrow, and these are all printed. And they're all the vellum pieces are from the old Crepe Paper Boys Rule collection. I also went down, I also went down to one blue strip under the bottom right of the photo. I did have two blue pattern paper strips, but again, I thought it was taking away from the media I had there. Oh wait, I lied. I do add in another strip, but I just make it smaller. That's what I did. I forgot. I just thinned it out a little bit. So I'm adding these letters. Now these are pretty sticky letters, but I find that my thickers or other stickers like this do not stick to a gessoed background well at all. So I had to go back and add my liquid adhesive. I'm not sure if I show that on camera or not, but I did go back and add glue to the back of those letters because they didn't stick very well at all. And then I forgot that I wanted to add some stitching, which I didn't show you a close-up here of, but you'll see it in the close-ups at the end. I added some stitching on the diagonal lines, and then on the top where the pennants are, and the bottom where the pennants are, and then through the words that say all boy. And then I go back and add my photo and a couple of these other embellishments. I had these black and white flare, which were super cute, so I felt I needed something else black to the right here because I had the ready set in black letters, and then down at the bottom I had the word child there in the black letters, so I wanted to add something else. So you can see I cleaned off my desk. I cleaned everything up. I thought I was just about done, and then I remembered that I wanted to add something else to this vellum, and that is some little staples to help hold the vellum letters down. So this is the, I think it's called the Anywhere Staple Punch. It's a We Are Memory Keepers tool, of course, because they have the best tools. And you have this little guide here on top, and there's a magnetic base underneath. And the guide, if you notice, has some arrows on it to show you exactly where the staple is going to go. So you line up your thing that you want stapled where the arrows are, and then you just staple. Yeah, it's pretty cool. 3 different size staples with different size staplers. And there it is. There's the final page. So I love how this came out. I think it totally captures the movement. I love this photo, by the way. One of my favorite photos of him. He's so cute. Such a boy. You can see the green splatters there and the arrows and the stitching and the staples. And I just love all the texture and different materials on this page. My zigzag stitching there too. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed. Please go check out Christine's channel and all the other YouTubers who are posting videos today all about boys, and maybe you can enter to win a prize. I will see you soon for the next video. Have a great day.